We got this. Okay. All right. Just do it. Let's go. Konnichiwa, minasan. My name is Ichiro Cyan, your friendly neighborhood science tutor. Yoroshiku onegaishimasu. Oh my gosh, I can't believe I'm actually doing this. I mean, first time for everything. Hi there, random. Oh, the nerves will get out here in a minute. Oh, thank you very much, Sin. And, oh man. I mean, this is not my first time doing a stream, but definitely my first time doing something like on Twitch and in front of everyone. So it's going to be a different experience. Oh my gosh. Let's see. How are we all doing tonight? Might as well start off with something simple like that. Oh, of course. Hit the mic, of course. Okay, yeah, let's count how many times I can scuff tonight. Oh, that's good to hear. Oh, yeah. Definitely great whenever you get to be off work. And trust me, I can tell you all about that. Okay, so might as well go ahead and start explaining a little bit about myself and what this is all about. Since, as you can see from the title of my stream, I am a science VTutor. And I bet a lot of you are probably wondering, what is a VTutor? So, well, put simply, I'm going to be doing science tutoring while online as a VTuber. That is actually what my goal is with this stream and everything. But of course, there's not going to be any use in me starting to tutor people if people don't know exactly who I am. So that's why today I kind of want to, or tonight, I want to go ahead and focus on introducing myself a little bit. So in a classic fashion, I have actually put together a small little PowerPoint that, well, Google Slides, technically, that will be able to define a little bit of who I am and what to expect. Oh, and by the way, before I forget, thank you all for who started following me even before I started streaming this. Thank you so much, as well as all the subs. We will eventually get me up there to affiliates so I can get full use of those. But you know, everything in due process. You gotta have small little goals. Don't try to rush everything all at the same time. Let's see here. This. There we go. Got my little presentation screen. Yeah, just like your typical. Let's see here. If anybody remembers, and this might be me dating myself, overhead projectors or slide projectors. So those good old big old projector screens that you had to pull down in order to show it, because it would be like stuck on a wall or something, and so you had to pull it down and you know. Yeah, nowadays everybody has the what are they, smart boards, Promethean boards. That's what they're called. They're called Promethean boards in school, where you can actually use your computer to push everything up. And yeah, that would be nice to have in order to use. I don't know. Maybe we'll look into see improving on that in a little bit. But I had to be honest, I actually kind of like a lot of the old school methods. Because you know what's great? You know what's great about some of the old school methods? They'll always work in a pinch. For example, like say you have something go wrong with your computer, and then you're out of luck if you can't connect it up. But you know what? Just pull down the screen, put it on the projector, and boom, you got it. Let's see here. That's what I want. All right, so if everybody is ready, we'll go ahead and start the slideshow. So as I said, just to introduce myself a little bit here, my actual name is Science Android 1.0, or if you think about it, that's what Ichiro Cyan stands for. See? Science Android 1.0. Cyan, and then 1, Ichi, and 0. So, Ichiro Cyan. My creator is the wonderful inventor Sensei Sensei. I know, right? As I said, I am a science VTutor. That's why I was designed. As for how old I am, to quote one of my favorite characters, Sore wa himitsu desu. Or, if you don't know what that means, it means that is a secret. I was born on October 23rd, so Mole Day. Yeah, if you don't know, October 23rd is known as International Mole Day. Why? Because what is the thing we used in order to talk about a mole? It is Avogadro's number, also known as 6.022 times 10 to the power of 23. So that's why we have set October 10th, or October 23rd, excuse me, as Mole Day, 10/23. And my little Oshi marks, so find out, like on all the, all the big fancy little social medias, have the little robot with the little microscope, because again, science android and everything. So, not to go too much into my lore tonight, unless you really want me to. So a little quickie here. I was created by Sensei Sensei to help students struggling in chemistry and the biological sciences, and also to revive an interest in scientific imagination. Because he kind of noticed the fact that there isn't that big of an interest anymore in the sciences or STEM-related fields. So he kind of looked and went, I wonder how that happens. And so he decided maybe if we made it easier for some of the more difficult classes that students struggle with, like chemistry, biology, organic chemistry. I know a lot of college students who always ask for organic chemistry help. And also the fact that we really don't have any most people around anymore to do just scientific presentations and get that interest out in science. So that's why he built me. However, it turned out that whenever he was training my AI, in order the algorithm, of course he put all these big presenters in there and all the scientific knowledge on chemistry and biology and everything like that. However, he accidentally added in his anime and games collection too. You know, late nights, you always make those errors. I think we like to call them midnight errors. When you've been up when you're working on something at 12 o'clock at night because you just want to get it done and you're just blurry eye and just, I want to go to bed. Well, accidentally dropped his anime and games in there, and so guess what? That got trained into the algorithm as well. And so I was born. For those among you who actually know about maybe some older anime and things like that, the lore inspiration is things like Akira Toriyama's Dr. Slump. If anybody here ever read or seen Dr. Slump, because there was quite a few animes of Dr. Slump back in the 90s. So yeah, and also probably a little lesser known one is Naoko Takeuchi's Tokimeka. So a little bit about Tokimeka, because it's actually one of my favorites. So this was actually one created by the lady who wrote Sailor Moon. It was one of her later works that didn't get a lot of recognition. And then what happened is it's about this young girl scientist, of course, super scientist, and she builds the perfect friend. And that is Mecha-chan. And whenever a lightning bolt woke her up early than what was expected, she's this quirky hyper girl. Going around and trying to help Hakase, that was the main character's name, fall in love. Really cute series. Well, that was the one shot. The manga decided to go in a different direction. I think there was 2 volumes of the manga. Yeah, I think it was 2 volumes. Here we go. So, yeah, this is not my final form. So I currently have a character model being designed by my artist who's helping me with that, Nox Kuro. And this is what he has designed so far for me. So one of my big goals, especially by June, is that I'll be able to have a full model here, so that way I have a bit more access to everything there, and get a bit more interactive and everything like that. He gave me permission that I could go ahead and show it off in progress. So when you do get a chance, definitely. So thumbs. Yes. Yes, opposable thumbs definitely help whenever you're trying to do stuff. Also, just being able to move around. I mean, look here. I mean, you can't see it, but yeah. Arms waving? Nah, don't got that. So yeah, if you do get a chance, definitely drop by Knox's account there. That's his Twitter, X, Twitter. I've heard many people call it different things. Account there, and check out and see what he has. He's an amazing artist. So, what are some of my likes? Well, I love scientific research. I mean, remember, that's one of the reasons I was built is to be able to get scientific research. Anime, no duh. Video games, computers. I do like building computers and also doing some programming. Done some work with Python programming. So a little bit into some of the research interests. So the one thing that we are really interested in researching is antibiotics. Antibiotics research has been a big focus for us for a very, very long time. Why? Because I'll be honest, microbiology is really, really cool. Whenever you think about how those tiny little microorganisms are able to can either cause so much benefit or so much harm, it is amazing. And even more so when you start looking at the bacteria and other microorganisms of medical interest. You always hear them. You always hear about them everywhere. And well, did you know that we are really using a lot of antibiotics that were originally discovered back in the 1950s? There really hasn't been much progress in developing new antibiotics or even finding new ways in order to treat some of these resistant infections. And so what happens? Well, as we have people who don't use antibiotics properly or misuse them or overuse them, it starts the bacteria, of course, through processes of, well, evolution is the change over time. And it talks about the population that's changing, not the individual itself, natural selection and everything. Well, in the case of antibiotic misuse, that would be artificial selection, since technically humans are selecting for it. And anyways, so that makes it really tough whenever you get some of these organisms that are resistant to just about anything we can throw at it. And so that's why one of the big interests is being able to develop new antibiotics. But of course, that takes a lot of money, and a lot of money that is not easy to come by. There is not that great of an interest in the pharmaceutical industry and everything in developing new antibiotics, even though it has been identified as an important problem in science and in medicine. So one of the things that we are also interested in is improving the production of existing antibiotics. Because there are some which are actually so rare and so hard to come by that it makes them very expensive, even though they could be useful for treating some of these very hard to treat infections. So on this slide here, this is probably one of the antibiotics that we're very interested in, which is penicillin production. Penicillin's always been so interesting because of how it works, how it's bactericidal, which means that it's not, we're just going to stop and slow it down. No, kills it dead. So, in other words, it directly kills the bacteria instead of just slowing them down. And also, the biosynthesis of it is really interesting. And how it just comes from mold, of all things. Actually, there are a lot of drugs that come from mold that are useful, that we use a lot in medicine. How do you experiment with him? That is actually a really good question, Random. So one thing we can do is using model organisms. So, for example, one of the most common hospital pathogens is MRSA, methicillin-resistant Staphylococcus aureus. Now, of course, that is known as a biosafety level 2 pathogen, which means that you should be working with it in proper lab environments. Biosafety level 2, of course, meaning there is a treatment for it. So that if something should happen, it is easily, quote unquote, treated. But if you don't have access to it, you can use something that is of a lower biosafety level 1, which is the easiest ones and the safest ones. That means they don't cause harm in humans. So those are the easier ones to access. So in the case of Staphylococcus, it would be what is known as Staphylococcus epidermidis, which is also known as a coagulase negative staph, because one of the ways that Staphylococcus aureus actually is able to protect itself from the immune system and everything is by the enzyme coagulase, which causes the fibrin in your blood to clot around it, therefore kind of making a physical barrier to the staph colony and your immune system. Whereas Staphylococcus epidermidis does not have that. In fact, just listening to that name, scientific name there, epidermidis, what does it make you think of? Your epidermis. So this is actually part of the normal human flora, biological flora on your skin. And so we can actually use that, since it's very similar. Let's see here. It's in the same genus, Staphylococcus, but it's a different species. So we're just about, they're cousins, you could say. They're very close cousins. So we could use that safely, since it doesn't cause harm in humans. Now, of course, you do hear sometimes of coagulase negative staph infections, but that's only in people who have weakened immune systems. So, in other words, not what you normally see in the general population. And so those type of organisms are very easy to get a hold of. And if we are, thank you. And of course, we have, since those organisms are easier to get a hold of, and let's say targeting a specific process, let's say cell wall synthesis, since that's kind of what penicillin targets, but let's say targeting something else a little bit further upstream. That's something that might be common in all bacteria. So that means we could be looking at even, say, something not closely related like E. coli. Yes, that's right. The one that everybody's heard about, good old Escherichia coli. Because since they do share common mechanisms, you could probably find a way you can be able to investigate it in that one as well. But yeah, that's actually, to be honest, model organisms is where we start with a lot of our research. The other interest that we have is in synthetic biology. So, what is synthetic biology? Bioengineering. So, being able to basically reprogram organisms to be able to produce something that is not found naturally in it, or maybe to overproduce something that is naturally found in that organism. So, one of the most, so for example, a lot of research is done in yeasts. So, those are common ways where we see synthetic biology. Another one is we do see it in E. coli as well. In fact, E. coli was kind of our first organism we started working with all the way back in the 1970s. Since it's simple, it's easy. The genome, being a prokaryote, is very small. Well, small in comparison to any other organism, that is. I mean, 12 mega base pairs of DNA is definitely not that small. But the fact that they can also have what are known as plasmids, which is where we can literally put just kind of smaller DNA strands that can, well, circular strands, because that can exist outside of the chromosome. We can put any gene we want in there, and knowing about how it's able to be expressed, we can engineer it to do what we want. In fact, that's actually how the first biotechnology drug was developed, and that would be human insulin back in 1979. Yeah, it was 1979 whenever Genentech worked with Eli Lilly because Lilly said, let's find a way to make human insulin so that we don't have a problem with the fact that porcine and bovine insulin is caught. People can't take it because of either allergies or some religious reasons. Because there are some religions where you can't have pork products or bovine products. And then so they put out that call. Genentech answered it and was able to produce the first vials of human insulin back in 1979, putting it into E. coli bacteria to produce it. So, but we've come very far actually in terms of synthetic biology. I mean, I think it was it was longer than that. Within this decade, we actually was able to recreate an entire organism's genome. I mean, it was a mycoplasma, which are very, very small prokaryotes. They can't intracellular prokaryotes, so they actually have to exist inside another cell. But they are. We were able to reproduce the entire genome of it completely synthetically. And so yeah, synthetic biology is quite interesting, and where a lot of the cutting edge research is right now. All right, so of course, when it comes to anime, everybody always asks, "Okay, what's your favorite? What's your favorite?" Do you know how hard that is to answer most of the time? So instead of giving a top one, I always like to give top 5. So my top 5 favorite anime of all time, starting with number 5, The Slayers. How many people in here have actually seen Slayers? For those of you who don't know what the Slayers is, it was a series back in the 90s, fantasy series following the adventures of the great, powerful sorceress Lena Inverse. Seen there, blowing a bandit to smithereens out into the ocean. Yes, that's right. We do have the novels. Actually, we've had the novels twice. First time was Tokyo Pop, and they released all the novels from up to novel 7, and then they skipped 8, 9, and 10 and released 11 and 12. But yes, one of my all-time favorite series. A lot of fun. If you like fantasy series and comedy and adventure, definitely check out The Slayers. All right. Number 4. The Melancholy of Haruhi Suzumiya. Oh, so yeah, I love the Haruhi series. It was a lot of fun whenever I saw it in, or when I saw it there. All right, so yeah, let's see how well I can stay in character, how much I'm going to drop out of character. Yeah. Yes, and so seeing Haruhi, I actually saw a lot of myself in Haruhi, since bored with life, bored with everything, and just wanting something different, something more exciting, something different. So it's one that's definitely stuck around with me for a very long time. All right. Number 3. Let's see how many people have heard of this one. F, A Tale of Memories. So, full disclosure, I love visual novels. Visual novels are amazing. And especially after Kanon 2006, there was an explosion in visual novel series, and F was one of them. Not to mention, it was also supervised by the great Akiyuki Shinbo. Let's see here. Most people probably know him from, of course, directing the Madoka Magica series and movies. He also directed The Soul Taker, if anybody remembers that one. Basically, he's kind of like the almost a de facto director at Shaft. But this was one that was very great. And of course, we see Hiro there, giving me a good big old kiss. All right, number 2. Well, if I love visual novels, it's no surprise. Kanon 2006. I have seen 2002. It was okay. But 2006 definitely is the de facto adaptation for Kanon. I just love the stories. Oh, so many feels, so many tears. If a robot can cry. The Chin of Death. Oh my gosh, yes. The fact that they tried to adapt Itaru Hinaway's art style for the males in the series. Oh, that was a bad decision. I mean, Hinaway-san is an amazing character designer, but that was still when she was still getting her style down. Because, let's see. Let's see here. Because she originally worked for. She did one game with one soft house. It was called Cohabitation was the name of the game. That was actually her first one that she did the character designs on. Then she went to Tactics, and at Tactics her first one was, I think it was Moon. Yeah, it was Moon. It was Moon. And then one, and then of course the whole team that created one got fired, and then they moved to visual arts and created Kanon. And so yeah, Kanon's like her, I want to say it's like her third or fourth game that she did the designs for. Is this to prove anyone could? Yeah. That's almost Key in general. Yeah, if anybody has ever seen Key works, they usually are good at tugging at the heartstrings and just reducing you to a pile of tears in the end. Because of well, I'll talk about probably one of the main reasons why here in just a little bit. Because Key does come back here for a little bit. But first, of course, gotta talk about my number one favorite anime of all time, Sailor Moon. Yes. Sailor Moon is my favorite series of all time. This was the one. This was the one that started everything for me. For some people, it's like, oh, it's DBZ. It is. Excuse me. Oh, it is Pokemon. Nah, it was Sailor Moon. It was the gateway anime. So yeah, this is my number one of all times. I'll be honest, the top 5 always gets shuffled around a little bit, but Sailor Moon is always going to be number 1, no matter what. Oh, awesome. Yeah. Again, about to date myself. I remember watching it before going to school too. I would get up at it would usually air about 6 o'clock in the morning on what was Fox TV back home. And I would sneak out of bed early in the morning just so I could go out to the TV in the living room to watch it. And parents thought that, and I would always act like I was still asleep. But actually I was kind of flipping through watching Sailor Moon. Yeah, and that's back before knowing what anime was. So, yeah. All right, so favorite type of games. So platformers, puzzle games, as I said, visual novels, and gotcha games. Now, there's a star there because not all gotcha games, but I do love me some gotchas. In terms of platformers, of course, starting with Good old classic Mario. Grew up with a Nintendo. So of course I got into Mario, and then eventually Sonic and everything with that. And I just love platformers. They are easy to play, easy to pick up, and just easy to work through. In fact, the platformer I have here, this is a more recent one. It's called Chrono Gear. It was made by the same people who did one I'd like to play at some point, Freedom Planet. And it was based on the HoloLive talent, Aura Crony. It was a lot of fun. I put time and effort into that recently. Good old classic Tomb Raider, of course. We're talking about puzzles and adventure type games. Visual novels. I've played quite a few, and I enjoy them a ton. Just because, again, they're like choose your own adventure game. They're choose your own adventure games. If you ever had those old choose your own adventure books, they're very much like that. Just in a game format. And then, I said, gotcha games. It's got to be very specific, because if the mechanic is if there's a very strong gotcha mechanic, in other words, shell out that money, yeah, don't get me near those. Yes, we'd be like, okay, all right, let's see. I'm gonna hold this in place here, and I died. Okay, flip back. But yeah, so I like a lot of the more story-heavy gotcha games. I'd played Princess Connect Redive before and enjoyed it. Symphogear XDU, whenever it was around for the 6 months it was here. Oh, I missed that one. Oh, that was so much fun. And then the one that got me more recently is Honkai Star Rail. I got into because people were talking about it, like, oh, this is so amazing. Yeah, you should, because this is from the people who make Genshin Impact. And I'm like, you mean the Genshin Impact that I've heard a lot of people jumping like thousands of dollars into? Like, yeah, sure. And then what happened is, so I'm like, okay, yeah, I'll go ahead and give it a try. I mean, it's free. And then I'm like, wait, the story has no way to be this good. And it turned out it was. So I played it as long as I could. And of course, I still need to play it. Yeah. Again, OSC, adulting sucks. So, why am I doing all this? For money. I mean, no. I mean, no, not seriously for money. But actually, that is one of the reasons. So full disclosure, as I said, I like scientific research, and there is opportunities around where I live that would allow me to be able to do research, and so I do have an actual job. Um, yep, breaking the kayfabe here. I do have an actual job. This is my side gig, and I want to raise money in order to do research. As I was talking about earlier with some of that antibiotic research. Aside from that, forced me to catch up on all the games and models I want to build that I have been letting pile up. I have quite the backlog when it comes to games and things like Gunpla models. So I figured if I go ahead and decide to do this as, you know, okay, yeah, I'll do it on stream. Therefore, it basically puts a thing saying, yeah, you need to do this, not I'll do this eventually. Same thing with all the games I got piling up. So, as I was saying, in terms of raising funds for research, just about a few blocks down from where I live, there is a place that actually allows you to rent lab space. And it's a co-working lab. So you've probably heard of those co-working spaces, and they became very popular, especially during 2020 and so on. And what they do is you're allowed to rent, you're allowed to rent spaces. And here it's actually lab bench spaces. And you have access to everything, piece of equipment, all the refrigerators, all the centrifuges, and everything there that you would need in order to conduct research. I mean, of course, there's some things you have to purchase yourself that they don't provide, but it is nice. And of course, they have connections with other with like universities around the city and other businesses and so on that allow you to be able to get your start doing research. It's actually for startups, people who are wanting to start up doing medical research, biomedical research. And so to work on some of these personal projects regarding antibiotic production, as Random was asking earlier, how are you able to conduct this type of research? Well, I figured that to start off there, said one of the interests is being able to produce antibiotics, get better ways to produce them. So that's kind of part of the research. And basically would be going in an order of increasing complexity. Because when you take a look at the biosynthetic pathways of these three antibiotics, they are wildly different. Penicillin, so starting off with like penicillin, because there's actually published research showing that it can be done. They just didn't do anything on optimizing it. It was kind of more just proof of concept that you could put a pathway as complicated as penicillin into using yeast, since Saccharomyces cerevisiae is what we normally just call baker's yeast. Then I would move on, try to see, once I got that figured out, working into something more complicated like tetracyclines. Because the main goal is that one at the bottom there, fidaxomicin. Fidaxomicin is actually a newer antibiotic. It goes by the name Difficid. And it's actually used to treat it's now called, it used to be called Clostridium difficile, but now it's called Clostridioides difficile, or most people just call it C. diff. Nasty infection that occurs a lot in hospitals. And it's basically a newer antibiotic that works very well for it, that you don't have to give, let's see, it's usually vancomycin oral because it's not absorbed, so it goes straight through to the colon. But again, nasty. Vank's not a great drug to begin with. Very rough on the body. But fidaxomicin is actually a lot more effective. But it costs about how much is it? I think it's like $5,000 for one full course of it, which is a month. And that's because the actinoplanes, that's a prokaryote. So the bacterium that produces it doesn't produce a lot of it. It's very hard to isolate. On top of that, when they were doing studies on how they could try to improve the production of it, I mean, nobody's been really interested in penicillin G. Why? Because we did all that research back in the 1930s and 40s and 50s on penicillin. And especially during the 30s and 40s for a very specific reason. Which is why a lot of the research on penicillin didn't come out until the late 40s and 50s. That's right, World War II. So there was a lot of research being done on how to improve the production of it, strain improvement programs that are called, and so that's actually what happened with penicillin G. We hit them with X-rays, we hit them with mutagens, and I hit the mold with that there to force more mutations and select for the ones that had better production. Same thing with tetracycline. That was literally, American cyanamide, terramycin. Yeah. Again, those have been done. And that's usually what we do whenever we want to improve the yield on something. We'll just mutate the hell out of it. However, it turns out the organism that produces fidaxomicin does not work too well in these improvement programs. They have tried what they can, and it just will not give much more of it. And so, even though it is a very useful drug, it is very not easy to get a hold of. And because it is a more complicated biosynthetic pathway, it's a polyketide, but much larger. It's a macrolide, actually. Then, like tetracycline, it has a lot more genes that it takes, and so it's a larger mechanism, and so it's harder in order to optimize and study, or what they're really interested in, can we make new derivatives of it? So that would be actually the main goal of a lot of this research that would be doing, is see, could we be able to maybe produce fidaxomicin in yeast? Something that's very easy to work in when it comes to synthetic biology. We know a lot about it. We have proven it can. We can throw entire new chromosomes in there, and it will take. So maybe that's the path forward for it. As I said, adulting sucks. I have a huge 10-year backlog on games, anime, and Gunpla to work through. So that's one reason of doing this. So, what content to kind of expect from me? Of course, one of the main things here, I am a VTutor. So chemistry and biology live tutoring. So basically, There was a thing growing up called Homework Hotline, and you would have people send in their questions and it would be answered live on air. And so I kind of want to bring that to Twitch, um, and do it that way. I think it would be so cool if you could have people could come in and ask their chemistry and biology questions and be able to answer them live on air, live on stream, and then then they're able to go back and take a look at them later and help out. Who knows how? I mean, one thing, especially when it comes to, you see a lot with students, and when it comes to teaching, is usually everybody's scared to ask the first question, and yet it's like, you know what? I bet you 10 other people in that classroom have the exact same question that you're asking. So that's why I think doing it here as a live stream would actually be very beneficial. Now, of course, eventually, once I get the technology that's needed and the space and everything, I want to start doing live lectures and demonstrations slash experiments. So, I don't know how many people here have heard of. It's another VTuber named Onigiri. Onigiri does cooking streams. In fact, she's famous for her cooking streams. And one of my buddies showed me one of her streams a few years ago. And I was so amazed seeing her basically AR, where it looked like her model was actually interacting with the pots and pans and everything on the counter in front of her, and was able to look like she was actually there. I mean, of course, with limitations. You can see like the gloved hands and that moving around there. So, of course, but willing suspension of disbelief and everything. And I saw that, I'm like, that would be so cool to see with science demonstrations and science experiments. Because to actually look like that the model itself is doing the experiment. And so that is one thing I want to eventually build up to. Of course, that's going to need quite a few things to come. I said, small little steps. Whenever not tutoring, talking about and watching anime, I definitely want to be able to do some watching streams with everybody, where we can all get together and just say plow through, like say 5-6 eps of a series, and watch it together and comment and laugh and riff if it's bad. I can think of a few right now. As I said, playing gotcha games I keep forgetting about. Honkai Star Rail, Zenless Zone Zero. Yeah, I said, after seeing with Star Rail and checking out Zenless Zone Zero, yeah, I definitely want to play more Zenless Zone Zero. But the time sink. And then one that I've been waiting on forever, and then I played it a little bit when it first came out, but then again, time management. Heaven Burns Red. Oh my gosh, June Maeda, my love. So there's the main reason why we all cry with Key, and well, most Key works. Because Jun Maeda, he's the one who is very well known for being able to tug at the heartstrings. And this is his, technically his latest game, Heaven Burns Red, which is a gotcha game. It's a mobile game. Oh, that's fine. Thank you for coming, though. Have a good night there, Ellie. But yeah, so I want to get. So I want to be able to play Heaven Burns Red a lot more, and then see what can happen with it. Because again, with it being June Maeda, well, let's see here. I mean, it could be Nakige, it could be the Crying Game, but from when I was playing of it, not really. But again, I only played like maybe the first introductory chapter or so. And if you know anything about Keyworks, the first introductory chapter is what kind of is a little bit more lighthearted. It's at the end whenever it just rips your heart out because you've been forming all these connections and then with everybody and you're starting to make and you're starting to feel for them and that and then all of a sudden rip something happens. I mean, fun fact, Jun Maeda, his major in college was psychology. Think about that for a minute. Of course, playing games to work on my backlog. So it won't all just be, say, visual novels that I want to be able to play that have been piling up. I also have a few other games, PC and console. Once I eventually get a interface card, well, not an interface card, just a pass-through capture card. Um, I got a ton of console games that I can that I have to play through. I said, Gunpla building streams. I love to build Gunpla. One of my buddies got me started into it, and then I was again time. I couldn't find the time to do a lot of just sit down and work on them. Or more than likely, what just happened is let's a squirrel. So out of sight, out of mind, that kind of a deal. I had a few Gunpla that and well, not just Gunpla. There are other model kits. Like I have a nice Mega Man X one that I really want to put together that I've had for a few years. That I would like to get time to work on and put together, and and have everybody here to be able to chat with while doing it. I don't know. See how well you can distract me with it. So, all in all, that's kind of what to expect from me. And then finally, probably the big question is again, what is a VTutor? Well, VTutor is actually short for a VTuber tutor. I just figured that'd be a cute little. I think they're called portmanteaus. Yeah, I think they're called a portmanteau, where you combine two words together in order to form a new word. Of a VTuber who is being a tutor. Mm-hmm. So, what subjects would I be tutoring? I would be tutoring high school and college chemistry, high school and college biology, AP biology, AP chemistry. So, those are the college level classes that are taken by high schoolers. Whenever I've done tutoring in the past, there is a lot of crossover when it comes to AP, the AP courses and the college courses. Organic chemistry, one of my big loves. All organic chemistry is so much fun. But yet, it's also a source of so much stress for those who are not who are not more minded in it. They're like, oh my gosh, all these mechanisms. Oh gosh, I have to learn all these. Yeah, no, there are lots of shortcuts that a lot of people don't teach about how to learn organic chemistry. Biochemistry, of course. Microbiology, my love. Molecular and cellular biology. And genetics, and also molecular genetics. So yeah, as you can see, I have been certified as a tutor here. That I'm capable of being a tutor in the fields of chemistry and the biological sciences. So don't worry, you're good with me. So then, how would these tutoring sessions actually work? Well, it is going to be a paid service. Remember, goal is to raise money. So normally, whenever doing tutoring, you charge usually by the hour. And most tutors charge anywhere from about, let's see, anywhere from, I've seen 30 to 50 or even $60 an hour. And I'll be honest, $30 an hour makes sense. That's too little, and 60 is way too high. Rocks for jocks. Oh, that's an interesting. I'm going to say geology? Introductory geology, maybe? But basically, so the thing is, so I'm thinking, okay, but on a per question basis, because again, I don't want to outprice. I really don't want to outprice the. No, that is the first time hearing that before. That before. Rocks for jocks. I'll have to remember that one. Put that into the memory banks. So it said, so I figured charging per question instead of per hour. Why? Because, well, if I'm doing it as a live stream, I don't know how much interesting it would be for me just to sit there and work with one person for an entire hour. So I figured doing it per question would actually be the better way of doing it. And again, since I kind of don't want to outprice my target audience there with it, because, high schoolers and college students. And if any of you remember, there's the term poor broke college student is very common and very true. So I wanted to figure out a way to make it affordable for the college and the high school students for sending in their questions. So I figured $8 per question would be reasonable. Because that would be that's about the equivalent of, say, 5 questions in an hour and that's about, again, said sometimes about the average tutoring for an hour, rate for an hour is about 40. So I figured 5 questions, be able to answer about 5 questions in an hour, because remember, our goal isn't to do it for you, it is to help you understand it. Some questions may need a little bit more than others. It just depends on what's going on with it. So $8 per question, max of 3 per day per person. Again, don't want to be doing your homework for you, but also that would limit you yourself to say only 20 would be equivalent of $24 a day with that. So again, trying to keep it affordable, and so that I'm not breaking breaking the bank on their wallet there. Again, there's one of the reasons, another reason why a lot of people won't seek tutors is because it costs too much. Of course, though, if you are a subscriber to the channel, you do get a 25% discount. Why? Because basically you're kind of like a student enrolled to me. So that way it's you get a little bit of a benefit from it. And questions will be answered live on stream. And after the stream, I would also be able to cut up the clips because I am going to upload this stuff on YouTube, my YouTube channel, so that way I can get some content on there. And provide out links and so on after the streams. So you can refer back to it if you need to. Or in the case of, again, people be able to find it on YouTube and check it out and go, hey, what's this? Well, that's cool. So yeah, the big goal is also with the monthly lectures and experiments. Pick a monthly lecture topic. So in other words, pick one stream a month where it's kind of more of a lecture instead of, say, tutoring. To be decided when that would be. And basically, be, of course, chemistry or biology related, my two specialties, with a live demonstration or experiment to go with it. And again, as I was talking about earlier, have it done in an AR fashion like Onigiri's cooking streams. Of course, I have all the requirements that I've thought about, what I will be slowly working towards in order to get there. As you saw, my live 2D model that is being designed, currently being designed right now. A green screen, much better camera. I have a little GoPro that I'm going to be using for, say, like doing the Gunpla streams and stuff like that. But definitely, if I want to do these AR streams, it's going to need a much better camera than that. And then Mokopi trackers. Well, wait, what do you mean Mokopi trackers? So Mokopi is actually these, they are inertial trackers designed by Sony in order to allow for full body movement, full body motion. Well, it turns out that just last year, they collaborated with VTube Studio, which is, of course, the one of the de facto ways that we VTubers use, one of the de facto programs that we are able to now incorporate Mokopi tracker motion into the model, which means that if you have full motion with the model, you can get near full motion with a 2D model. So instead of requiring a 3D model like you would normally have to, which would be using Vroid, well, it's not Vroid. Vroid's what's used to make it. I'm trying to think of the program. for 3D. I mean, a lot of people just use VR chat for it. But to be able to move 2D models around like they are 3D, so 2.5D. I actually did play around with them earlier last summer because I found a place where you could actually rent the trackers for about a week. And so, of course, it's like, yeah, I gotta try this. Sony provides a model that's already rigged and for VTube Studio that responds to the trackers, and so I actually got to play around with it, and it was so cool. And so I definitely want to be able to use that with my streams. So it would actually kind of almost look like the arms are moving. The arms are moving and being able to grab things like grab flasks or grab bottles and things like that, and also be cool to try it with not just that, but also with the Gunpla streams. Be able to look like my model is literally working on the Gunpla at the same time. So yeah, so there are some big dreams here, but again, slowly but surely is the name of the game. Animating viewing streams. So I found a program called Tanami. It's kind of a program, but it's also a browser extension. And what it does is it works kind of like how Prime Watch Party used to be, where it will sync up the streams of everybody who is watching. And of course, one of the big things why a lot of people don't watch things on stream is because of the always lurking DMCA strike. Yes, the copyright strike. 3 strikes and you're out. Nope, no thank you. So someone actually came up with this idea for Tanami, which uses syncing of your own accounts. So in other words, you're not watching it like, say, off my account. It is syncing all of our accounts at the same time through the extension or through the app that they have. And so we are able to watch anime together. And it integrates directly into Twitch. So I am really excited to try that out sometime. Of course, it'll be fun to see what kind of problems come up with it too, because anytime you have enter in any kind of new technology, with it comes the unavoidable scuff. I won't begin to tell you how much scuff I went through these past 2 days setting all this stuff up and getting ready. Oh my gosh. Okay, of course, that's the end of the presentation. Any questions? Question mark? Okay, well, let's see here. I'll just wait a few moments there because I think there is a delay. Okay. As I said, first time working on Twitch, so gotta learn everything around. Yeah, expect a lot of these early streams to be scuffed as well as just learning my way around everything. I'll get better with time. Okay, then. So let's just go ahead and switch back here out of the. In addition, can we ask general science questions like fact check, anime, and or? Yes, actually, that is very possible. Random. In fact, anime science is a lot of fun. One thing I was definitely thinking about that I might do later, kind of one of those be a cool content stream, would be looking at, say, the genetics of, because one of the things, of course, when you're talking like Sailor Moon, Dragon Ball Z, and all those, the one thing, questions always came up about genetics. And back when we were kids, we said, oh yeah, Chibiusa is just a mutant. There's no way a girl with blonde hair and blue eyes and a guy with black hair and blue eyes can give birth to a kid who has red hair or pink hair and red eyes. But it turns out it's actually plausible. By something that is kind of the bane in the way of any genetic type of research. Good old polygenic inheritance. Hold on here. Let me change labels. There we go. But yeah, no, that actually would be quite cool to talk about science and anime. And also with science fiction. Because, well, remember, the literal definition of science is to understand the world around us. Understand the natural laws of the universe. So, a lot of science fiction is really based off of science fact. It's just a little bit off the science fact. In fact, at a few conventions I've been to, they actually do have people come in who are university professors that have worked on some of these series as consultants. And they talk about why they were brought on and what the problem they were handed to be able to explain. But of course, that's science fiction. Anime, anything can happen. Unless you get some that really do kind of play more, I guess the correct term is called hard science fiction, where you kind of play more closer to the actual physical laws of the universe. One of the first ones I can think off the top of my head is Cowboy Bebop. It really played a lot with hard science fiction. Another one, much older, because actually the first time I heard of the term hard science fiction, whenever the DVD sets came out from Nozomi Entertainment for Dirty Pair. Haruka Takachiho, the novelist who created Dirty Pair, talked about hard science fiction and how he writes for hard science fiction. Which is really interesting because it basically says aliens don't exist. That every every organism that is colonizing out there in the universe is from humans, that humans have colonized the universe. And so it plays a lot in that way. So, let's see here. Let's see. Presentations done. Introductions done. Here, that. So, how it used to be called weird fiction. Stories have some basis in science. Oh, interesting. Oh, that's really interesting there. Actually, that would make sense because one of the greatest science fiction authors, Isaac Asimov, actually, of course, everybody's heard of Isaac Asimov if you're into science fiction, because he was actually working on his doctorate in. His doctorate in biochemistry, actually. Yeah, he enjoyed writing things, and one of my favorite stories of his, which is written literally as a scientific paper, because he was struggling through his thesis called the. Let me remember it. The chronological effects of thiotimoline, I think was the name of it. And it was based on his own research that he was struggling on. Now, of course, not this not this actual like being able to, because thiotimoline itself, as he was describing it in his seminal paper, was saying that it could undissolve itself because it could turn back time and undissolve itself. He was actually working with a chemical known as catechol, Catachol, catechol, which is which is used as a indicator for oxidizing enzymes. And so that's what his research was on, his doctoral thesis, and it was giving him a lot of problems. So what did he do? He wrote a fake scientific paper as a story, as a short story, and published it in one of those magazines. He didn't publish it in an actual scientific magazine. No, he published it into one of those, as Random says, weird fiction magazines. People believe that's actually how it came about there with thiotimoline, because catechol is known to be very, very temperamental, very, very water soluble, and it will dissolve whether you want it to or not. It was. So yeah, that would make sense if back in those days, that in order to get published, they would have to make sure you were close to science fact. See, learn something new every day. So as I said, let's see. I got through the presentation, got through the introductions, got through the nerves. So, that's right. So kind of want to just take some of the time left here. Let's see here. What, been going for an hour? Oh my gosh, hour and a half. Oh, it feels like it's been longer than that. Okay, maybe not all the way through the nerves. uh, just having some just random chats about anime, either people watching or have seen. Especially things like have been like say recently. If there's anything you've been watching, um, talk about something I've been watching. Like one of my favorite. How many people here are actually watching things this season? Hmm. Awesome. Um, well, one of my favorite shows so far this season that has started is called Sentenced to Be a Hero. And oh my gosh, it is a lot of fun. If dark fantasy is your thing, definitely check it out. It is the first episode is an hour long, which of course means it's more like 3 episodes stitched together instead of one. And it is so much fun. The main character is a trip. Um, such a badass. Yeah, even though I said I only have like my 5 top anime, is that I always have different anime each season. I think are the best, or that are that did well, or at least the ones that hang on to my own memory for a while after. Let's see here. What was a good one last season? Um, thinking. Actually, one I had a lot of fun with last season was The Dark History of the Reincarnated Villainess. Yeah, it's an isekai, but it's a shoujo isekai. And actually, quite interestingly, the director and the producer themselves said it's not actually an isekai reincarnation series. It's actually just a shoujo, just with using the isekai reincarnation as window dressing more than anything. It was a lot of fun, very funny. Imagine that you were reincarnated into the works that you made, the really cringy works that you wrote when you were a kid. And that's what happened with the main character, Konoha Sato. Except she wasn't reincarnated as her perfect, ideal version, self-insert of herself, the heroine. Of course, like any self-insert, her name was Konoha, the same name. No, she was reincarnated as her, the evil villainous younger sister. And of course, like all those other reincarnated as a villainous series, it's tried to not die. Because usually they die. It was cute. I really enjoyed it. What are some other series that people have seen recently? Another one, it's a little bit older, um, but so not like within the most recent time, but another older one I really enjoyed because sometimes you might just need something cute in order to relax. Was a series called Kuma 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 Bear. That one was a really cute slice of life series. Again, in that whole isekai trend where, but at least she didn't. Kind of more trapped in a game isekai when you think about it. Hmm. What? Record of Ragnarok? Oh no. uh, hmm. Oh no. Record of Ragnarok. No. I can't take that one seriously at all. I mean, once you just. Oh my gosh. That's if you want just pure ridiculousness. I mean, over the top ridiculousness. That's one you have to watch out. That's one that really stretches your willing suspension of disbelief. I think I saw the one clip of the one lady where it looked like let's see. I've seen a lot of fan service before watching, but this was fan service that is not Disney's Hercules. But I was saying, the fan service is way out there. Um, Whenever you see this one clip of the lady where her breasts are getting blown, literally smacking her in the face, I'm like, oh my god, no, there is no way that I can. There's no way I could watch this at all. It's too stupid. Disney's Hercules is more mythologically accurate. Oh my lord. Yeah, that's you know you have problems when that's the case. Let's see here. What else? What else? What else? This is already one thing that I'm going to have to definitely work myself on is one thing I'm definitely going to have to work on is how to keep the dead air time down. Oh gosh. Just keep yapping. I've heard some people say one of the tricks, especially as you're learning, is to sit like a plushie or something in front of you and kind of like you're talking to your plushie, talking back and forth. Maybe I'll try that. As I said, this is my first time doing all this, so there's going to be growing pains. There's so much, there's so much BS that got. Wow. Okay. Yeah, that's kind of amazing that there is so much BS that got banned from an entire country. I think I'm just going to go ahead and call it a night. It's been almost 2 hours. I think. I mean, because that's about all I had planned for tonight, with terms of my debut stream and everything. So I think, yeah, I think I'm just going to go ahead and call it a night. So thank you all for coming to see my debut. For those who are interested in the tutoring, tutorings will be on Tuesdays and Thursdays from 6 to 9 p.m. And if there is no tutoring going on, then we'll just sit around and bullshit the way, talking about anime or science or whatever tickles our fancy. All right. Okay. Then to everyone, have a good night. And again, thank you for coming. Johnny!